Okay, webcomic creators, serious question. Do you ever get to a point where while you're working on your comic, you start to get ideas? And I don't mean working on your comic like working on like a single page or anything like that. How many times did I just say like in that sentence? Anyways, I almost said like again, not when you're working on a single page or something like that. I mean, do you ever have a point where while you're working on your series or your chapter or whatever it is that you're doing for your current webcomic that you get ideas for other stuff? Right now I'm in a very weird place where I have ideas for different webcomics, or I have idea for a new webcomic that's twirling around in my mind, and I'm not even finished working on the webcomic that I'm currently working on. It's actually got me to the point to where as I'm working on my current comic, I'll do like a page or so of Infinite Uppercut, and I'll sit down and I'll start typing up almost like the plot of the comic that I'm starting to formulate in my mind now. And I'm wondering, like, how do any of you, if you make webcomics and you happen to be listening to this, how do you handle stuff like that? I found myself in a situation similar to this back in 2018. Well, it's not exactly the same, because at that point I was working on Shadow Assassins and I was kind of completely burnt out and I wanted to stop, essentially. So I had to, and I don't know, I hit a bit of a wall creatively and mentally with Shadow Assassins to where I didn't want to continue as much anymore. And I happened to dream the idea of Infinite Uppercut, and I started working on that, and I've been pretty much going strong since then. But now it's like I'm working on Infinite Uppercut and I'm starting to have ideas for a new comic. The good news is though, it's not making me want to give up Infinite Uppercut at all. Like I'm still, because my ultimate goal with Infinite Uppercut is I'm seeing this comic come hella high water through to the end. The only way I'm not finishing this comic is if something actually happens to me along the way, which, knock on wood, that doesn't happen. But I don't plan on quitting Infinite Uppercut for any reason. But it's the weirdest thing. Like, I have this idea for another comic, and there's a part of me that's like, do I just take my time and just focus all of my attention on Infinite Uppercut? Do I work on Infinite Uppercut as best I can, but when I have these inklings to work on my new comic or flesh out my new ideas, I do that? Or do I try to work on both simultaneously at the same time? Which is kind of suicide, but at the same time, I don't know. There's a part of me that wants to try it, even though I know historically that's never worked very well for me, but I kind of want to do it. I don't know. And this is happening at a very weird time where I have an insane buffer for my comic that's like almost 3 or 4 months ahead right now. So I don't want to start getting in the habit of thinking that I have the time to start working on something new, because I really don't. Like, I'm gonna blink one day and that buffer that's ahead is gonna start creeping behind if I don't start creating newer pages at a faster clip than I currently am. Which I am making pages, but it's crazy, like, trying to work ahead of yourself, how quickly you can start to catch up. That's amazing. Like, I got this buffer in the beginning of April, and I think I've only gotten like 2 or 3 weeks ahead, but it's already mid-May. So it's like that time will creep up on you very fast. So I don't want to start getting in the habit that I can sort of take the foot off the gas with Infinite Uppercut whatsoever. But it's like, oh my gosh, I have new ideas. Like, what do I do? Now, I'm asking the question of what other people do when they get in this situations, but I will say one thing that I have been doing, and I've made a habit out of doing this for years, is as I get new ideas, I sort of have multiple notebooks on hand, borderline 24/7, because I'm always carrying notebooks or something in the tote bag with at least a pencil or a pen on me to where I could write down any ideas that I get at a moment's notice. I've pulled over to the side of the road on numerous occasions and started writing stuff down. But yeah, I always make it a point to like jot down ideas or write down as I'm working on stuff, just to, I don't know, just to always have it on hand and have it in my forefront, like just to be aware. It's not just like sitting marinating in my mind. I can get it out and sort of flesh it out. Especially someone like me, like I can't just keep having multiple things sit up in my mind. I'll exhaust myself, if that makes any sense whatsoever. But I'm very curious if there's anybody else who works on like webcomics or any type of like creative writing for that matter. Like, how do you deal with having ideas for other pieces of artwork while you're working on the one that you're currently working on? Like, how do you even deal with that? And do you work on more than one at a time? It is possible. I don't know how certain people do that, but it is possible to do. So yeah, that was just an interesting thought. It's a dilemma that I've recently found myself in, and I felt the need to like share it with you. Cause it's like, how do you handle the same situation? Maybe it'll sort of point me in the right direction, because I don't know how to handle this right now. Because I've tried working on more than one comic, and before it was pretty much a bad idea because I didn't have a buffer with the ones that I was currently working on, and I was kind of burnt out, so it wasn't smart to do. But at the same time, I'm in a position now where I can plan out a lot better, and I have better knowledge of making webcomics and things to do and what not to do, and ways to sort of make my working process easier on myself, to where, I don't know, maybe it's a lot more feasible now to do. Like, I have no idea, but I don't know, just a very creative sort of mode that I find myself in right now. And I wanted to throw this out there just to see how other people handle similar situations. But that really is all that I have for today. Just wanted to throw that out there really quickly while it was on my brain. And I just happened to be thinking about, like, I'm writing down other ideas right now, so I happened to be thinking about it, and I went, maybe I should kind of pose this question to my YouTube channel. So here it is. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't. And if you're a webcomic creator, let me know what you think. And also, like, check out other stuff on my channel by chance. And if you're just a fan of art and like my artwork, just also subscribe and look at some of my previous artwork in the millions of playlists that I have on my channel. In any event, plugs out of the way. You all have a good one, and I'm out.